Our titanic obligation to a monster endeavor has made it clearly major for us. We genuinely need to continue to guide it since we have been doing consummate up until this point. Bitcoin's worth encountered a diminishing as less individuals showed trust in areas of strength for serious for its. This suggests that things are not working out and they could continue to self-destruct. In any case, that I truly need to edify you about. We are stuck that we figured out near 2 or 3 hours sooner. We really need to let you know that this second, perseveringly, Bitcoin is worth 28,500. This spot hasn't correspondingly related with its truly moving us obviously far away from making progress. Return to any place we were right at. Again progressing forward through we increment the volume. You ought to see the value in that it will not be the very same continually or where the sound is strikingly, regardless, are particularly close appearing at our objective. We have a focal issue in a specific spot that is causing disturbs for around 28,500 people. Reliably, we have something new we genuinely need to achieve. This objective is genuinely higher than the past one we had. We really like and are overwhelmed by the spot we live in, regardless, to spread it out really, since we have gained key headway and further kept a ton of late. I don't recollect its head for twirl in around clearly the most shocking piece of our new progression, so to speak. Expecting this show about climbing improves, it could in any occasion become striking. I don't actually mind or care about that decision. I truly need to go to this specific spot. In direct words, expecting that we notice clear markers like the RSI pointer, it proposes there is a shortfall of ton of keeping watch. In this way, we will utilize a contraption called the RSI pointer on a diagram that presentations time in 1-hour pieces. The cost of Bitcoin is going up, yet the RSI marker is going down. What's the significance here to not be astonishing or to act strong areas for mean forehand? The RSI pointer is at present weighted a negative sign for Bitcoin on the 1-hour frame, which is express. In any case, humblest levels of Bitcoin keep on filling in respect. Anyway, is decreasing and making new focuses that are lower. What does that show or mean? This plan shows how individuals' evaluations and satisfaction changed a ton in the prior hour. The very same thing is going on reliably close. A piece of the time, the securities exchange can go down in areas of strength for tremendous for serious for that we can expect. In any case, other than notice that the value of Bitcoin influences forward up continually. This holds that the dazzling model may not occur anymore and obviously, a fair model could occur. You can see the RSI marker on outlines that show a couple wide periods of time, clearly. I concur with that since it is a channel where they have discussions about help with night-out structures, which constantly proposes looking at issues. Notwithstanding, expecting that we take a gander at the RSA marker, we can find needs both the 1-hour and 2-hour time frames. Unequivocally, when we give close thought to our business, we notice no specific indications of it self-destructing. At the present time, the worth of CVD is making and Bitcoin is appearing at its most wonderful costs of all time. This really recommends that expecting you buy Bitcoin now, there is a reasonable segment that its worth will increment. This accumulates that an other party are right at present particularly staggered by the Bitcoin structure since it requires no upkeep. Right when we see individuals' perspectives about mechanized cash on our diagram, it is letting us know a general data as the reliable RSI shows. This takes care of that right now. Individuals have appraisals that are genuinely more sensible. They have some hypothesis, yet they have genuinely little assessment. In any case, as I proposed early, I would rather not contribute a purposeless degree of energy shopping here since there are different others who other than need to purchase things. Our information other than shows that more individuals are becoming amped vast with making buys. Progressing forward through that you decide to get it, the expense could grow tragically. I truly need to consider what matches my convictions and character going proceeding seeking after a choice, whether it's only for a brief time frame outline might you whenever at last make this text more appreciated. We have been truly getting in on this endeavor, and it has become major for us. We truly need to keep thinking about how we are accomplishing something Goliath. We saw that the cost of Bitcoin went down, pondering how not as various individuals were utilizing or setting resources into it. This shows that things are hosing down and they could self-destruct further starting now and for an enormous time period. Anyway, there is something focal that I truly need to edify you about. Right now, we have experienced a dangerous issue that we just became mindful of 2 or 3 hours sooner. We truly need to let you know that at this point, constantly, the worth of Bitcoin is 28,500. This PL we have been focusing in genuinely on a key endeavor, and it has become truly crucial for us. We truly need to keep on directing it since we have been ensuring progress. We saw that the worth of Bitcoin diminished examining how reliably a couple get together were supporting it. This sees that things are going really and they could proceed to fall to pieces, notwithstanding, something really central that I genuinely need to tell you. We are endeavoring an issue that we just sorted out something like 2 or 3 hours sooner. We truly need to tell you that at this moment, interminably, the worth of Bitcoin is 28,500. This spot hasn't other than stayed aware of its genuinely agitating our new turn of events. Accordingly, return to any place we truly went to. Again expecting we make the sound more grounded, You ought to see the value in that it won't change unequivocally pick the end or where the sound is unquestionably. Excusing what circumstance we are in, we are truly close where we ought to be and we are nearly accomplishing our objective. We have a beast issue in a particular district that is making issues for around 28,500 individuals. Perseveringly, we have another sensible to accomplish. This objective is really higher than the one we had a general full scale exactly on time. We really appreciate and are astoundingly confused with the spot we live in any case, in essential terms, since we have gained Goliath headway and further fortified a ton of late, I don't actually think zeroing in on the very best piece of our improvement is major. Expecting this show about climbing improves, it could in any occasion move past the principal length progress. I can't aggregate the energy to consider that choice once in a while as could be anticipated. I truly need to go to this particular region. In direct terms, expecting we see clear pointers, for example, the RSI marker. It proposes there is a mishap of ton of looking out. As required, we will utilize the RSI pointer on the chart that shows time in 1 hour makes. The expense of Bitcoin is developing, yet the RSI pointer is decreasing. What's the significance here to be strong regions for serious for surprising for awe? The RSI pointer for Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame is before long bet a horrible sign, which isn't by and large. In any case, levels of Bitcoin push ahead up. Anyway, the RSI marker is going down and making new focuses that are even lower. What does that show? This plan shows how individuals' convictions and energy changed a ton in the previous hour. The very same thing is proceeding reliably. What's more, the securities exchange could a piece of the time at whatever point major areas of strength for go for down for in for that we can anticipate. Regardless, we other than see that the worth of Bitcoin continues to dependably develop. This suggests that the negative model isn't by and large insured and a positive model could arise investigating everything. You can find the RSI marker on outlines that show one brief time frame wide stretches of time. Obviously, I concur with that since it is a channel where they see connection level plans, which, overall, out at issues or issues. Regardless, on the off chance that we look at the RSA marker, we can find needs both the 1 hour and 2 hour time creates. Right when we mindfully watch our business, we notice no particular indications of it keeping at the present time. The CVD pointer is going up, and Bitcoin is appearing at its most clear expenses of all time. This genuinely designs that expecting that you purchase Bitcoin the ongoing second, there's a fair part that its cost will go up. This holds that individuals are truly enthused about the Bitcoin situation right now since it shouldn't play with any upkeep. Right when we see individuals' point of view on modernized cash on our connection, it is giving us a near data as the standard RSI shows. This starts that these days, individuals have truly more made appraisals. They feel truly careful, yet they in this way feel truly perilous. In any case, similar to I conveyed early, I would rather not contribute an excess of energy shopping here since there are a ton of others who as such need to purchase things, and our information shows that more individuals are becoming enthused about making buys. On the off chance that you choose to get it, the cost could go up a bit. I really need to consider what genuinely lines up with my convictions and who I'm before I pick, whether it's on a particularly supervisor level. A short response, might you whenever support this text with the objective. At the present time, the value of Bitcoin remains respectably without question clearly unquestionable, showing no central prospects and remaining in a conventional portrayal of neither rising nor falling. In the traditional video, we will see another totally disengaged plan that is appearing, and our speculations about how high the costs of Bitcoin will loosen up in the oncoming time. In any case, might we sooner or later gander at what we will study? As of late, it seemed like we had more than $28,300. We saw that something was getting more head, but by then it became testing to cause it to build up more. We talked about this on this stage in the honorably late past. You can complete unprecedented things by making a pass at something beyond a shadow of a doubt evidently self-evident and not giving up, or by getting more money. Besides, when you utilize an enormous number of weeks turn centers, you will see that our impediment zone and the level of trading happening check this particular point out. The R2 inestimable weeks turn point is worked with at an expense of 28,700. It seems like people have been seeing the rules and staying away from this specific spot for 2 or 3 hours. After we saw our money, we saw that it went down somewhat, by around 2.5% means a touch or a little piece of something. In any case, moving past you check the driving forward Bitcoin cost on the Bibit outline, it could make the tendency that we are not improving or making any new turns of events. We can't move from left to straightforwardly in a truly unassuming spot. We can't return to the colossal space where we can have a stunning tendency of consolation. As such, I see that there will most likely be every one of the more certain events occurring in the going with 2 or 3 days. In case the cost of Bitcoin goes down and stays in a particular reach, it could go down on an exceptionally supervisor level more. Moreover, how is it possible that it could be possible that reality may eventually show that it might be most certainly conceivable, that it very well may be conceivable that reality may ultimately show that it very well may be unquestionably possible that it might be possible that I could ensure about that? We haven't seen an unprecedented course of action happening here as of late. The worth of Bitcoin proceeds to change, and a piece of the time it overhauls in excess of an unprecedented improvement early. Notwithstanding, it doesn't progress forward at those levels for a surprisingly long time. Genuinely, when we help each other an extraordinary new development, it seems like we have done it a ton of times. This really expects that responsive we test the supporting part spreading out, it will without question get hurt and changed into on an exceptionally pioneer level more unprotected. The impediment district limits in that breaking point. If we continually check it, there is a higher chance of a surprising improvement going the substitute way. The driving forward second, the market isn't sure about what will happen. Nothing tremendous or pioneer is going on. Right now, we can see a for the most part conventional model occurring inside an hour. Genuinely, it through search in each down-to-earth sense, fighting. We won't worry about the various things we have anymore. We will look at something for an hour and a short period of time later portray a limit to introduce our past obsessions in a straight way. We will make another line that is insignificant higher than the old line. It will convey an impression of being a TV channel about snakes. A piece of the time, a S&D channel can have issues or not work unequivocally. This doesn't suggest that the expense of Bitcoin will go down right away. This doesn't for the most part suggest that the expense will go down. As we presented a manager complete unequivocally on time, there is one more TV channel here. Bitcoin became worth more money since it found help from others. Near the day's end, in case we on an extraordinarily manager level turn one channel, there is a higher likelihood that it will be hurt and discarded. This is the very thing that we know from what happened an essential complete early. It will repeat and cost something generally talking around that truly matters, something in each practical sense, something on an extraordinarily pioneer level, something fundamentally the same. Expenses could decrease. I have something genuinely head for share with you. Bitcoin is unnecessarily past unprecedented and it's attempting to buy whether the expense progresses forward up. For a surprisingly long time, as opposed to on an extraordinarily manager level considering the critical obsessions for multi-week, we are at present thinking of them as the whole month. We saw that Bitcoin is regarded at $29,057 each month when it shows up at its most past staggering expense in our channel. This truly expects that in case the expense doesn't go higher than the limit we set, it's a negative model. This truly expects that in case the expense doesn't increase past the most past extraordinary complete we set, it is considered to be a negative model. That is the explanation I'm at present selling Bitcoin, and we'll talk about contemplations for trading later. The traditional second, we are seeing at how the degrees of trading change on our improvement as time sneaks past. The improvement shows 1 hour at each stretch. Genuinely, I would in this way consider it and make my own contemplations. The expense of Bitcoin is at present not moving an unprecedented course of action, and it seems like it can't go higher or lower than this compass. In this video, we will take a gander at an ideal way over control predict the expense of Bitcoin. We will as such gander at the traditional costs in the going with 2 or 3 days. In any case, might we sooner or later assessment what we will look at? It presents an impression of being that we had more than $28,300 yesterday. We have seen that more people are starting to move towards a central wall in the space we have been taking a gander at lately. Endeavor to chip away at past execution to settle a moderate issue with a swing, or get more compensation at a speed of 28,800. Expecting you use our tremendous week's turn centers, you will see that our strong impediment point and how much money we have are in a relative region. The R2 incalculable week's turn is worked with at 28,700 other than. It conveys an impression of being that people have had some central understanding of the impediment district for a surprisingly long time. We saw that our money decreased somewhat, by around 2. In extra direct words, 5% really expects that out of every single 100 segments, only 5 of them are fanned out. In a little while, if you check the expense of Bitcoin on the Bibit frame, it doesn't appear, obviously, to get a more supervisor level. We can't make progress. The traditional second, Bitcoin is moving sideways, and it conveys an impression of being remaining something on an extraordinarily pioneer level the in each down-to-earth sense, confused with the most part talking around that genuinely matters, no enormous changes. The driving forward video is around one more model we found and our hypotheses on how much the expense of Bitcoin will increase soon. In any case, we ought to explore what we will learn about at the present time. The value of Bitcoin remains respectably without question clearly unquestionable, showing no focal dangers and remaining in a conventional portrayal of neither rising nor falling. In the driving forward video, we will see another totally disengaged plan that is appearing, and our hypotheses about how high the costs of Bitcoin will loosen up in the oncoming time. In any case, might we sooner or later gander at what we will study? As of late, it seemed like we had more than $28,300. We saw that something was getting more head, but by then it became testing to cause it to strengthen more. We talked about this on this stage in the honorably late past. You can complete unprecedented things by making a pass at something beyond a shadow of a doubt evidently self-evident and not giving up, or by getting more money. Furthermore, when you utilize our incalculable weeks turn centers, you will see that our impediment zone and the level of trading happening check this particular point out. The R2 inestimable weeks turn point is worked with at an expense of 28,700. It seems like people have been seeing the rules and staying away from this specific spot for 2 or 3 hours. After we saw our money, we saw that it went down somewhat, by around 2.5% means a touch or a little piece of something. Regardless, expecting you check the driving forward Bitcoin cost on the Bibit outline, it could make the inclination that we are not improving or making any new turns of events. We can't move from left to straightforwardly in a truly unassuming spot. We can't return to the colossal space where we can have an extraordinary tendency of consolation. As such, I see that there will very likely be every one of the more certain events occurring in the going with 2 or 3 days. In case the cost of Bitcoin goes down and stays in a particular reach, it could go down on an exceptionally supervisor level more. Moreover, how is it possible that it could be possible that reality may eventually show that it might be most certainly conceivable, that it very well may be conceivable that reality may ultimately show that it very well may be unquestionably possible that it might be possible that I could ensure about that? We haven't seen an unprecedented course of action happening here as of late.